Hey guys, Richard. Not in Ryden's room, although that's my son's room now, so I should probably rename it. Not This is my room technically, but I was just called that one Ryden's room because that's where the Star Wars bookcase was, etc. As you can see, it's my non-Star Wars ones there. You know, try and see from how zoomed out it is which ones are which. Give you a clue. There's some Harry Potter books there. So anyway, on to it. So somehow this book video is taking me a long time to get through. I've reviewed much newer books I read, and this one I read right before my birthday in August because I basically ordered a Warhammer book, Dawn of Fire 9, and I needed to be done by that point. So here it is, Darksaber. Now, this is like the original copy, which I bought off eBay a while ago. Pretty poor shape. I just ordered in the Callister trilogy. I'd heard good and bad, so I thought, doesn't matter if they're not great condition. Absolutely love this book. So I've actually got another one, which is on the shelf downstairs. Fortunately, it's got the legend strip on, like this X-Wing book, but that's how it is. Want a new book coming from the same seller, who's actually really, really good. Rareware Outlets, I think it is. I just ordered the original, the more popular, let's say, Han Solo trilogy, the AC Crispin one, through the same person that arrived earlier, like 2 weeks sooner than planned. So yeah, I thought I'd do the same thing for Darksaber. So yeah, I bought Darksaber, Scoundrels, and I think there was something else. I can't remember. I'll come back to it later. But yeah, so this is just for sale. And once it's still available on eBay, got it for £1. And trust me, this book is great. So quick summary then. So again, spoilers this whole general EU period. They call it part of the Callister trilogy. Children of Jedi and Planet Twilight, because Luke meets Callister, his true love, before, let's just say, his next one. And it was reading the Fate of the Jedi books that made me go for these, because Callister pops up, Luke's, being comforted by the, let's say, Force voice of his loved one. And she's like, no, that's not me. I wasn't there. This healing presence he felt wasn't that person. It was actually Callister. I was like, okay, Callister. And this is all a horrific trick by the creature Abeloth. But yeah, I thought, let's give her trilogy a go. And books 1, books 3 are absolutely terrible. They are like Crystal Star or Republic Commando's later entries levels of bad. I was skimming through most. To be honest, in the end, I was just reading the Luke and Callister scenes, but skipping the rest, e.g. Leia fighting a Hutt and a lightsaber duel, which was awesome, but overall just wasn't that exciting and just felt bizarre that Hutt could ever use the Force. The other stuff going on with what Luke was up to. Hang on. Was that Hutt stuff in New Rebellion? No, I'm sure it was Planet Twilight. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? That's how New Rebellion was an awesome book, so I should not be remembering that incorrectly. It wasn't even that long I read it. But yeah, basically one author, Barbara Hamling, wrote books 1 and 3, and Kevin Jensen wrote book 2. It's a bit strange. I mean, so lots of people were like, oh yeah, Darksaber, part 4 of the Jedi Academy trilogy, or an epilogue to Jedi Academy trilogy. Like, okay, how's that possible? I'll read and you'll see. And yeah, this is full of JAT references. Kip's doing huge amounts of stuff, before he became a Jedi Master for the new Jedi Order books, and generally eased out a lot by he chilled out, eased up on his general behaviour by the end of that series. And this is him more like how he was in the trilogy. So yeah, the only real connection to Callister, well, not Callister, sorry, the events, the previous book with Callister, is basically that second paragraph. That's it. You can sum up the entire last book for the important stuff in about 8 lines, which is completely crazy. But yeah, that's how disconnected this feels. I figured, worth a go, at least get the background stuff rather than just a summary. But yeah, I ended up throwing the book out because I didn't know. I sold that book, or it's for sale. It's only book 3. It was hardback, and the sleeve in such horrific shape. I just let my son play with that, and then he just trashed the book after, because without the sleeve, the dust jacket as they call it, the book was pretty worthless for sale. So I was like, yeah, just throw it out. But yeah, Children of the Jedi, I'm sure, is still in there. All my sale books are in there, so I could have a look, but I can't be bothered. So yeah, this is basically Jedi Academy Trilogy 4, or its own thing, but it doesn't feel like it's part of a Callister trilogy. If anything, it's a Callister duology with this as like an extra story. And I wonder why Ken Jensen wrote it. I guess he was more familiar with the characters, ones that he created / wrote for the first time, like Darla, but maybe the author's too busy to free. Or she was just happy to leave him to his own one. Who knows? I'm sure that info is out there somewhere. So let's get to it. But first of all, I bought this earlier on. So anyone who's a fan of Warhammer, this is, yeah, Red Gobbo's Tin Boy. So recently gone into all the Red Gobbo books. You can you might just be able to tell on the shelf, but I bought a few earlier, pre-ordered one. That's my next read. And yeah, these get sold every year. I never bothered buying them, but I was having a quick look. And yeah, last 2 years, ones of shops like £30 to £40 for new and sealed boxes. So no, resist temptation and only have the newest one. So yeah, also been reading tons of orc books and Warhammer. So in the future, I might build some orc armies, and it's been a nice little lead for them. Right, back to the shelf. Right then, back to it then. So, Darksaber. So, follow on from the Jedi Academy trilogy, we bring up people like Darla, Pelion, who was last seen, I believe, in the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Yeah, they basically unite, cause trouble for the New Republic, and lose. That's basically the summary while Luke is dealing with Callister. She can't get her Force powers back, and she's miserable and basically ends up leaving him because of it. No matter what, she can't recover them. One time she does seem to use them. It's acting out of hatred, which she knows is a terrible idea. She should not do that. And in the end, she just has to leave Luke because she also believes Luke will have a duty to have children one day, and those children must come from 2 Force-using parents. Spoiler, that's what happens. I should put my chair in here. Anyone seen the show Father Ted? And remember the World Cup 98? Get the reference? So yeah, that's basically the plot, but then there's so much more. Like Kip is friends with Dorske 1. They're like really good friendship, and they're so different from each other. Of course, Kip has absolute hatred for the Empire. Finds out Darla's taking over, leading things, work with Pelion, who's like very dangerous duo. And yeah, he manages to get warning out, and they basically launch multiple attacks. Wedge is part of the space battle, which is always awesome. And they defeat them, and yeah, it's all those massive sacrifices. Pelion is it's easy to forget he was never quite a good guy. Like, he plans to basically blow up the Jedi Academy on Yavin and killing many people. So that's not very good of him. That Dor sacrifices himself. He just uses all of the power of the Force available to him to basically send the entire fleet flying back into space, way away from the system, while the others are free to stop Darla, and yeah, it kills him, which is pretty sad. He's like a clone, but not a clone of a Jedi or anything, just a clone species, and he's the only one that can use the Force. Wants to return home, they won't accept him because he's too different, and he realises he doesn't want to. And yeah, it's just nice seeing Kip have such a good friendship with someone. And I always felt like we need more of Kip. Like I was thinking earlier, who was the youngest ever Jedi Master in Luke's academy? Spoiler going away to the EU. Jaina was the books in the EU, because there's the comics and a 8-year gap before that. But Jaina was the last person we saw get made a Jedi Master and an instant Jedi Council seat. But she was in her 30s when it happened. So Luke and Mara are about the same age. I've always maintained Mara's like a year old or so. And she's Jedi Master by the New Jedi Order books, but again, Luke's age at that point, so she's not like that young. So it's like Silgal is a Jedi. She's the Jedi healer. Mon Calamari, I'm not even sure they say what her age is. Tion's quite young. So is Camp. I don't know if he ever made a master. So it's possibly Kip. He could be the first person Luke ever made a Jedi Master, and the youngest person. I need to have a look for that, who that is. But yeah, it's just great seeing more of him. He's definitely one of the top Jedi, most complex characters, particularly with his actions. So yeah, that's basically it. So massively recommended it to everyone. Of course, you've got a super weapon. Of course, that's the Death Star super lasers being used. They're calling it Darksaber. Of course, everyone backstabs each other and it all fails. But yeah, definitely really recommend this book. It's a very good one, and like a lot of them, I'm not here to analyse every little detail. It's all unscripted, no edits. Just read it for yourself, and all I'll say is, if you like the Jedi Academy trilogy books, or what Kevin Jensen wrote for other things as well, you'll probably really like it. If you don't, you might not, but it's worth it. But if you've bought the Callister trilogy like I have, read book 1 and thought this is absolutely terrible, don't let it put you off this. It feels so disconnected from there, barring Callister and that intro of what happens at the beginning. It honestly don't matter. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the vid, and I'll see you for the next one.